Hey everyone, welcome to an emergency interview edition of The Left Hook. I have mayoral candidate Michael Blake. He's former assembly member and vice chair of the Democratic National Committee. He is running for New York City mayor. He is the son of Jamaican immigrants raised in the Bronx. Went to City of Northwestern University, graduate with a degree in journalism, been in the Midwest, went up against Richie Torres, lost, but that's okay. And he has been cross-endorsed and vice versa with Zoran Mamdani. And he is here joining me. He's a busy man. I got 10 minutes with him. First question I have for you, Mr. Blake. Why should, well, let me put it this way. Why is this race in New York so important? What will it say to Americans? Why is this not just a local race, but actually a national race? And if you will tell us the temperature and the thermometer of where the people are at when it comes to the establishment and when it comes to wanting change. I yield the floor to you.
Well, the temperature is John Blaze because it's about 98 degrees out here right now. so, we're starting there. But look, anytime something happens in New York City, it impacts the country, impacts the world. We can't ignore that. And we're in a moment of time where, especially given the disaster of Trump, folks are looking to see what are you doing in these local cities to actually help more people. And our whole focus on why I made this run and making this run is that you have to change the game on who are the people being elected to local office that actually can help our people. So when we're seeing what's happening right now, Trump is a clown. We understand that, you know, but people need to understand how are we helping them. And the race will be a thermometer. We'll send a message across the country on are we bringing in leaders, in particular leaders of color, who actually are fighting and giving a damn for the people, or are we turning back to the disastrous ways of Andrew Cuomo? And I want to make sure it's the former, not the latter.
Why did you cross endorse with Mamdani?
We both were talking about affordability. We're both real focused right now in that core question. So when I talk about ending credit scores for housing applications, when we talk about the need for increasing income limits, when we talk about the importance of local median income because area median income is not working, when we talk about 1,000 mental health professionals instead of the police for NYPD, we wanted to be very clear that I want you to rank me, Michael Blake, as your first choice. And if I'm not your first choice, then you got a great candidate in Zoran Mamdani who should be ranked as well. Because we're both talking about the core issues of cost of living and affordability. That is why we're aligned. And that's the beauty of this race. You don't have to just elect one candidate. You can vote for up to 5. And the more that we do this, the better the chances we all have of making sure that Andrew Cuomo does not become mayor. Look, this is the responsibility at hand. When I see what's going on, the fact that we both are children of immigrants, the fact that we both are talking about how we can make it more affordable, the fact that we are both saying we need to ban ICE from our schools and places of worship, the fact that we're both saying that Andrew Cuomo would be a disaster to our communities. That's why we did this. And that's why I did this. And I want to be very practical and very specific to folks. At the end of the day, for what I'm doing for the Bronx, what Zoran's doing in Queens, the 2 most diverse counties in America, if we hold down business and do what we need to do, we'll send a message not just tomorrow night, but next week when things finally get announced on who's the next mayor of New York City.
And speaking about ranking voting, right, it's really interesting to see that I feel like you all are coming together like the Avengers to stop Thanos. And Thanos, in this particular case, is Andrew Cuomo, because the cross endorsement is you and Zoran, but also Zoran and Brad Lander, New York City Comptroller, who was handcuffed and detained by ICE simply for asking them to show a federal warrant. Brad Lander is Jewish American, and he also is cross endorsing with Zoran and saying, listen, rank me, of course, number 1, Zoran 2, or someone else 3, but do not rank Andrew Cuomo. Why are you all united on do not rank Andrew Cuomo? What does he represent, which is such a threat for people who don't know?
While I was electing Barack Obama as president, who trained me and I worked for him in the White House, Andrew Cuomo said shuck and jive to black people. During COVID, when I was feeding people with World Central Kitchen, Cuomo was killing people in nursing homes. While I've been a feminist and standing up for women, Cuomo had 13 women who came credibly forward. So here's the reality. You have a man who quit. He quit. He quit. And now he's showing back up and saying he'll be better for you. And so I'm saying very clearly, you have a chance, you have a choice. And to Black and brown people in particular, imagine if you were in Andrew Cuomo's shoes, you wouldn't even be in the conversation because they would never just let us roll back in the way that's happening for us right here. And so I want to be clear to everybody that you have to be aligned with candidates who are on the same team. And so when we talk about don't rank evil Andrew for mayor, that's what we're saying right now. And what I'm saying is that, yes, I want to be your first choice. The same way Zoran is saying he wants you to be your first choice. The same way Brad is saying he wants you to be the first choice. But our job is real clear. Our job is very, very clear. The greatest threat to public safety is Andrew.
I lost you.
That's my
All right,
role.
I got you back. And you were, I hear what you're saying. You're talking to Black folks and brown folks, and you were the vice chair of the DNC. But then some folks are saying, well, Clyburn and Bill Clinton came out all in for Cuomo. So who should I trust? And why did they come out for Cuomo if he's such a bad guy?
You should trust the young, handsome Jamaican that y'all listening to right now. Right? You know, we should, it's a generational conversation. Look, I think a lot of people who have known him for a long time are aligning, right? They're friends. It's not about the name that you know. It's about better judgment. And the perfect cross example I would say, think about when it was Senator Clinton and Senator Obama. A lot of people knew Senator Clinton's name, but the question became around judgment. And for judgment, we're saying it's different and it's better. So yeah, Cuomo's ahead in polls because of name recognition. But our focus, especially since that first debate, where when the New York Times, the New York Post, and the Daily News can all agree that I won the debate, if those three could agree on something, that should be saying something to you. And we're saying to everybody right now, it's time to not listen to the cats who've had their turn. It's time for the next generation to have a turn. And if we want to really save the city and lead the city in a better way, then I want to be that leader for you. And if I'm not your first choice, I want to be your second choice. If I'm not your second choice, I want to be your third choice. But I want everybody to understand that we could change the game in a very thoughtful and a real way if you give us the chance.
And speaking about giving you the chance, the latest polls have come out that with the ranked choice voting, Cuomo could lose. Zoran Mamdani and Cuomo are neck and neck with the ranked voting that you just talked about. But the bigger picture here, and the reason why I think this is a thermometer for a national conversation, is it has dismayed me, Michael, that the New York Times, that Michael Bloomberg, that Representative Clyburn, that Lawrence Summers, that Bill Clinton, all the power, the 1%. All the institutions have come out for the man that they threw under the bus 4 years ago. A man, like you said, who is a predator. A man, like you said, is corrupt. Just because they see a person of color like Zoran Mamdani and others who can shake up the status quo actually come and bring about change, they're like, nope. We're going to go all in with Cuomo, the guy who we actually abandoned 4 years ago. And that's what's so disheartening to so many Democratic voters, that the entire establishment is coming out against you, against Brad Lander, against Zoran Mamdani. Talk to us about that and how disheartening that has been to see. But also, maybe this shows you that the people might actually have a different vision for the future.
Last week, data was showing for early voting that 37% of people who had early voted did not vote 4 years ago.
Mm.
I think people need to get ready that a new generation is showing up tomorrow that people are not seeing in these polls. That you're going to have a lot of people who are ready for something different. And I'll tell you this, when folks talk about likely voters, pretty safe to say that I should be a likely voter, right? I don't miss an election. I've been an elected official, all these. I've never been polled, right? And I know a bunch of people have never been polled. And so what we all got to focus on for everybody, some of these polls, it was like 800 people in these poll samples. Many of us think about 1 million people going to vote. It's really hard for 800 people to be a sample size of 1 million, right? I think
Especially
at the end of
the most diverse place in America.
Right? I think the reality is, let's see where the energy is happening. It's the reason why I'm doing a rally tonight in Co-op City, the largest Mitchell-Lama development in the country. It's the reason why You have places like the Lower East Side, where the Three Bridges Democratic Club have ranked Zoran and I as their top two candidates. It's the reason why you have young Democrats, Brooklyn and Manhattan in particular, who are saying the same thing. They're not worried about some of these polls. We're worried about the people. And we're very focused on how we can change the game. And look, I'll tell folks, I have been underpolled in every election I've been in. It is really hard for people to lock in when it comes to polls. What people care about is, can you move the people? And we're ready to do that. We're all ready to do that. And I do think we got to make sure that I want everybody to hear me on this. Be patient tomorrow night. Be patient for a week. All that we will know tomorrow night are first choice votes. But if we do what we need to do and bring people together and the coalition is organized, then we'll make it a point to make sure that one of us as true progressives becomes mayor and not Andrew Cuomo.
I want to ask you one last question, but this is a friend of mine from New York. I'm not going to say his name. I'm going to quote him. This was hilarious. If it's over 100 degrees tomorrow and the old racist people don't want to go outside and vote, Mamdani has a chance. I just thought that was, and you're telling me it's 98 degrees right now. Look, there's a chance, folks. The polls are neck and neck with the ranked choice voting. It's up for grabs. But I have to ask you this because it is not lost upon me as a brown man, as a Muslim, as a bearded man, as a son of immigrants, about the racist nature of Cuomo's campaign, and specifically in the past 2 weeks, and also during the NBA Finals last night. You saw it. Talk to us about the rank, shameless racism and fear mongering, which to me is an act of desperation. But as you know, racism also works in America. That has come out in the past week, and what that says about this race in this moment.
Yeah, look, if they weren't threats, they wouldn't come for you. And so I tell folks, whether it be when Cuomo tries to have a slick comment about me and how I came after him in the debate, or whether it be when they darken Zoran's skin color and his beard, it's because they just want you to be afraid of us. And it's our job to use these next few hours to remind people and encourage people throughout that we have the chance to do something special tomorrow. That I was trained by a man named Barack Hussein Obama that people said had no chance of being elected. But when you show people that you do the work on the ground, you'll overcome the racism and the fears and the lies. And that's what they're trying to do. And we're not going to allow them to be victorious. And so our job, everybody, has to be to lock in and be clear around ranking our people. Be very clear, in particular, to Black and brown communities who usually don't show up and vote in these mayoral races, that we can do this better. We can do this in a thoughtful and real way. If you want to change the game, rank Michael Blake, rank Zoran Mamdani, rank the people that are here fighting for the people. And if we do that, we're going to do something special on tomorrow.
And do not rank Andrew Cuomo. And folks, I recall there was another person of color who was underestimated and who was double digits underwater, and then came out and won, and is now one of the most popular voices and well-known faces and voices of the Democratic Party. Oh yeah, AOC, also
Yes.
from New York.
Oh yes. Hell yeah, AOC. That I think we've heard of her.
Yeah, I think we've heard of her. So, folks, it's a big race tomorrow. If Michael and Brad Lander and Zoran Mamdani and this coalition of Avengers can pull this off, it's going to be a game changer. This is going to make all the right people pissed off and help uplift the majority. And inshallah, it could be a bellwether for some significant change. Former Assembly member and vice chair of the DNC, Michael Blake, is running for New York City mayor. Thank you so much for joining me at the last second. Folks, the election is tomorrow. It's going to be sweltering heat, 98 degrees, 100 degrees heat wave. Come out. This is for democracy. This is for all the communities that are ignored. Ranking this ranked choice voting. So Michael wants you to give him number one. Other people say, hey, if you want to go for Brad number one, if you go for Zoran number one, rank your choice how you want, 1, 2, 3, but don't rank, tell them.
Don't rank Andrew Cuomo. And you're right. Inshallah, it'll be a blessing for all of us if we do this the right way.
All right, sir. Good luck. Thank you for joining me. Take care.
Well, I appreciate you, brother. Thank you.
Take care.